It's Morning Express. We are glad you're watching this beautiful Tuesday. We now want to talk about financing weddings. So people pretty much are getting married throughout the year. There are more wedding seasons, I guess. If you're in that industry, you will know the popular ones, especially December. But many a times, I'm sure you've experienced this, people will seek to get some money from you to, finance their wedding. Should that even be happening in the first place? By the time two people are deciding they want to get married, shouldn't they then go for what they can afford? Some get into debt and all manner of things. We'll allow you to be part of the conversation and share your views with us. Phone numbers will be on your screen. But joining me in studio is Eric Omondi, who's a talent manager, and also Anne Kehu, who's a wedding planner. And Anne, good morning.
Good morning.
Eric, I'll start with you, Anne, in as far as when talking about a wedding, what goes into a wedding? What one is considering when planning for one?
When the couple comes together, one, at the top of the mind, you need to first have a marriage license. And then secondly, you need to have a budget and then a guest list. Yes.
So when couples are talking about budgets for weddings, are they always working with what they have in your experience, or are they always hoping the Lord will come through?
It's a 50-50. There are some couples who've come up to me and they've told me, Anne, we only have 200,000. What can we do with 200,000? There are others who say they have a committee in place and they set it up and they say, look here, our friends, we have 200,000, but our budget is 800,000. So they try to tell the committee to help them raise the difference. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what we want you to also contribute and tell us this morning. Should couples fundraise for their weddings? Should that kind of a scenario even be happening in the first place, where you have 200,000, but you want an 800,000 wedding? Share with us your views. We see a lot of that, Eric.
Yeah, we do. And my feeling is it's very bizarre, in my opinion, that you'd want something you can't afford. It's almost like moving to Runda and calling your friends to, help you raise rent for the year. It doesn't make sense. I'm for the opinion that if we only have 115,000 shillings, we are better placed to see the chief or the attorney general and, do our nuptials and then go back home. Yeah. And then one day, if you're lucky enough to have made some money and want to do a flamboyant wedding, then we can invite our friends and celebrate with us, maybe in the first or second or third anniversary. Yeah. But I have a problem giving money. I don't go for wedding committees. I don't give money to weddings.
I like that you use the analogy of rent, because that's spot on. I mean, it's like calling us to fundraise for your rent.
Absolutely.
But why do people feel that? Why is there pressure to have a bigger wedding than one can afford? Why do we have so many situations like that, in your opinion?
It's peer pressure. One, my friend had this big wedding, and so it's a copy and paste. But what I always tell couples is just be within your budget. Yeah, do with what you have. And I'll give you an example. There's a couple that they went into church, the vows, they exchanged their vows. They came out outside the church compound. They fed their guests with soda and sandwich, and that was it. And then in the evening, they went to their best maid and best man's house for dinner, and that was it. Simple, nice. And after that, they start now living well with no debts, no nothing. Yeah.
So it's all peer pressure, Eric? It's that somebody else did it, I want to outdo them?
I think there's that, and then there's just also, it's just become a habit,
Yeah.
It's just become a habit that nichangie alafu nitakuchangia. Unajua watu usaidiana. You cannot do that. I feel people should start having good manners. I would categorize it under a horrible habit that Kenyans have loved to have. I've seen in the West, people don't really, donate for me. Who is going to buy the cake? And I've gone to some of those committees. You hear somebody say, okay, guys, thanks for coming. Now we've sorted the cake. We've also sorted the drinks. Okay, Anne's gown is where the issue is. And guys, it's 190,000. We can't do this. It's only 3 weeks down. You won't embarrass us like this. Really, I think it's weird. Don't do that. It's a bad habit. And I think it's upon us as Kenyans to change.
Yeah, it's been there for a long time. I've also been in very many of this. And it's hard to break those kind of habits. So because then, other than the peer pressure, wedding is a family. The African traditional society has always been about watoto ni wetu, wedding ni yetu. So there's also some would argue it's not such a bad thing. It's, you know, it's our wedding. So contribute to our wedding.
I think it should be not as a point of a requirement, but more as a goodwill. Like I know Sophia, she's getting married. What am I going to do for her? And then I would maybe call you and say, you know, I'm battling what I should get you. Would you care to, you know, maybe name an item you'd want? You know, they've even gone further now. Like their weddings now, they're taking lists to supermarkets that you tick off.
It's called the registry, yeah.
I think that's preposterous. You cannot do that. Like, okay, no microwave. And then all these guys leave pending is the big stuff, like the 2-door fridge and the, you know, huge plasma. It's unacceptable.
But that happens even in the developed country, doesn't it?
List of what to buy?
Yes, a registry in essence.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's really...
It should not happen.
It shouldn't.
What do you think?
We are furnishing your house now. Then we are going to pay your kids through school.
Well, I think it is okay because then you avoid duplication of items.
True.
Yeah?
Have you seen those glasses? Yes.
You know, you could have 50 sets of glasses.
I think you shouldn't dictate
50 sets of cups. You don't need that. So let them know that somebody else has picked glasses, somebody else has picked cups, spoons, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you just have enough.
Yeah.
I would much prefer, if God blesses me, to have a wedding that is planned between myself and my spouse. And welcome, you know, gifts. I'm uncomfortable with, you know, putting up a list in the supermarket. I'm uncomfortable announcing publicly that tunataka sana sana gifts za bahasha.
You're not dictating what your friends or family will give you. What you're doing is guiding with a registry. You're guiding in as far as you. Let me tell, and I've seen that. I don't know. You don't remember at weddings, for example, the same cups you find you have, like, I don't know, you know, so many that actually have to start giving them out as well because they just have too many. Or glasses, everyone buys the same simple things.
So give them away.
You know, I'm not just because there's a fridge there. You're not saying buy me a fridge. You're saying in case you're one of those friends of mine that, you know, this love goes deeper than deep.
I would not do that personally for my wedding. I don't think I would.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to furnish my house. Then you visit and then you're looking at the fridge like, nameitunza.
I guess there's that aspect.
I don't think I want that.
Okay.
I would love it that friends would just come and give whatever they want to give. If they want to give $100 or 2,000 shillings or maybe buy me a cup, bingo. But I'm not going to dictate what they should buy.
You're not going to dictate. Let's go back to the planning of the wedding and, you know, the various parties that come into it. Other than you've talked about the necessities, that is it necessary when planning a wedding? Grounds I hear as a big thing, and food, who want to be fed, and where to have the wedding. What else is key? What are those essentials that, you know, one then needs to put down or into consideration when planning for the wedding?
There's a bride's gown, there's photography, the rings. Key, very important, is the rings. And of course the cake that brings people together to share a meal with the rest of the gifts.
Okay.
With the guests, yeah.
So the gown is big. I can't just wear a cute white dress.
Well, you could even hire. We have shops that brides would walk in and hire a gown at a very reasonable rate. You could also ask a friend to hire her gown, maybe at a cost of 5,000 or 10,000, or just give it to you to wear for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a
one-day event, really, and there's so much that goes into that one day.
One day.
Yes.
What would be your priority? You're a guy, so you're getting married. What would be your top 5 things on your list in as far as, you know, must-gets in the wedding?
Before the top 5, I would want to prepare a little, you know, a little longer.
Yeah.
I feel that if I'm not ready in August, which was a set prior date for my wedding, I should have a spouse who's comfortable to move it to maybe 1 year down the line or 2. What I don't want is to set 5 things pegged on other people I don't want to do that. So I think couples who would be watching should be flexible enough to change the date. So look, this thing is not working. We've not met our target, whether if you choose to go through the committee way or through your own savings, then you postpone it. You push it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's better than, you're pushing things so much and then you get into a house and then you have debts and people are calling and you're being auctioned, which I've seen happen.
Me too,
And banks are calling and saying, if you don't come, you're going to come and grab your Mercedes, or we'll take your car and take these.
So you're saying for many people, when we see these kind of things happen after weddings, it's because of that rush.
You're rushing,
giving
lack of
yourself
planning. They
time.
say if you don't strategize, you experience tragedy. So I would want to strategize, and it needs time. For instance, if I was dating somebody and we've calculated and ascertained that our wedding would cost 1 million shillings, and my salary is 100,000 shillings, so inclusive of rent, food, electricity, and water, I would try and set aside 10,000 shillings. And maybe discuss with my spouse, how much of these can you give? If she says 400,000, then if it's going to take me 2 years to raise 600,000, let me do that.
How much time would you give a couple, and what factors in deciding what time they need to give in as far as, okay, we are giving ourselves a span of this number of months or this number of years to plan the wedding? What factors should they consider in deciding that?
One, it's a budget. Yeah. Usually, the couples have planned their weddings. It's taken about 6 months. There are some for 1 year. And the budget is very key. And the number of guests.
Right.
How many guests are we going to host for a wedding? It's very, very important. Because you cannot say you have 200,000 shillings to cater for 600 guests. That will not work. Then do you need more time to plan? Yes.
Okay.
So it can even push to 2 years as long as you're ready. And I support what Eric is saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll continue with that because the Kenyan tradition, or we see a lot of this happen, is you have invited 200 people, but 500 will come. It was not on you, but they came. Because I come with my father and my brother and boyfriend. Boaz is online. Good morning. Boaz?
Yes.
Thanks for calling.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts? Should couples be, having these harambes, getting people, committees to contribute for their wedding?
I don't should, and I'm going to tell you a practical thing. I was educated in the U.S. I got a girl from the U.S. I'm sure for that matter, we did not get a wedding. We said we should have a wedding when it is necessary. We actually went to the Attorney General in New York, got married, moved to Kenya, and we did not see the need for actually wasting other people's money. And I don't think it's necessary. People to put stress on other people. I have just returned from the U.S. a week ago. I arrived here on Tuesday last week. I went to my daughter's wedding in the U.S. And I can tell you, I did not put any stress on my family or my friends. My daughter came here with her boyfriend. I took them to Kakamega, where I come from. I had a festival there with my family, and I called them all the friends from the church. They ate food and they went away. I told them the wedding will be in the U.S. in April. That was in December 26th. And what I'm saying is, people have gone the wrong way. They put their own personal burdens to members of their communities. I am not for that. It is ridiculous for people to waste the money. You must budget. First of all, plan your money. You know you are going to get married. There's no doubt about it that somebody will get married. He wants to get married. And he knows the girl should, unless you train yourself, you will continue borrowing and living above your lifestyle. Your lifestyle will be above your economic means. I do not go for that.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to say, people have gone the wrong way, and the Kenyans are saying they are doing the Western way, but that's not the Western way. The Western way is you must save for yourself. Thank you.
All right, Boaz. Very well said, and we'll talk about some of those things you've touched on. We also have Martin online. Martin, good morning.
Good morning, Sophia. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Yes. Now, my contribution into this discussion is that it will depend on the type of community you come from. That is one. And the kinds of friends you have. There are some friends who will support you in kind and also financially. But it's not a must that you must.
Can you please have more volume?
That you must do an Harambe, because even like we are having a wedding.
Yes.
In September. And one of the things that we told our parents, because they were insisting on Harambes and pre-wedding, we told them, no, this is the way we are going. We have about 300,000 shillings. We have a budget of about 570. But we believe that things will be okay. We are working towards that 570. Now, how we work towards that is what matters. But going to the AG should be a no-no, because that is not the right way that the Bible says. The Bible says that you should do it in front of man and God. Is the AG God? No.
Okay, interesting angle there. Martin, thank you for calling and for sharing, and all the best with your planned new patrols. So from Boaz earlier, he's talking about, you know, they did it very easy. Go to the state law office and have it done and concluded. And when it comes to their kids, again, no pressure. And you see a lot of the times the pressure does come from the parents. They expect this huge affair to happen. Isn't it true?
I don't know if it does come from, maybe parents are different. I don't think I've met a mother or a father yet who's going to go like, are you only doing a wedding for $1 million? No, I will not attend. It has to be 5 million. Now, I think mostly the pressure comes from women, you know.
The brides?
The brides. The pressure comes from women. Like, you can't possibly want to just marry me at AIC Church in Kayole. It's not right.
It doesn't happen with parents, because I'd imagine some parents want to have their whole choir come, and those are numbers, and I don't know who and who.
What usually happens, and I always advise couples, please talk to your parents. Tell them you only have this much to do your wedding.
Right.
Yes. If then they want to support and finance, that is welcome. I have seen instances whereby an uncle will say, I'll take care of the cake, I will take care of the venue, somebody else. That way it is okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's mentioned pre-weddings, Martin, just now. What are pre-weddings? What is the function? What is its aim usually?
Well, a pre-wedding, you invite your friends, and the aim is it's a fundraiser where you want people to come together and help finance your wedding. Yes.
Okay, so pretty much that.
Yes.
Okay.
And in most cases, the trend right now, currently, is that you'd rather support a medical, you know, it's medical, but not to finance a wedding. I think weddings, it's more intimate. Have your family and close friends. Yes. Don't do cards inviting people to help you, raise funds for your wedding.
Okay.
Yes.
So you like him against this fundraising for weddings? What do you stand? What are your thoughts?
I don't encourage my brides, the couples, to do fundraising. I tell them, let's work with what you have. It can even be a destination wedding whereby people come, they book a hotel, and they pay for their meals. That in itself is a saving for the couple. So as a wedding planner, you just need to advise the brides, the couples, to do the right thing.
Okay.
Yes.
You mentioned the numbers, and I said I'd do a follow-up on that, because sometimes it's hard to actually plan, and the numbers is a big part of planning. By you envisioning you'll have 200 people, but come wedding day, you have 600 people.
My hunch is, I think, because we call people for harambes for weddings, then they feel they must bring somebody else, and you shouldn't dictate who they should or shouldn't bring, or the number. Because they say, I gave you 5,000 shillings. Uni anti yangu lazima akule. You know? So I think if we started to stop having people changa, then you can dictate vis-a-vis the number of cards you've sent out, and say, no, wait on a minute, I invited 200 people, and I'm strictly needing 200 people, because there are 200 plates, or at least 400 plates for those people who want to eat twice. But ukiwaita wachange, and then you're here going like, you're supposed to be just 200.
Yeah.
No, they won't. I've changed, I paid for my friend to eat. So pole, tutakula wote wanane.
Tutakula wote. Are you advising more? Is this something you'd recommend for card-only kind of weddings, that you don't come and just get in? Come and show me the card with your name. If it's not there, you're not invited.
The way the trend also is that people are going more on cards only. Why? Because you cater for the people you can afford. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I encourage it. If then it's a wedding that you have to have so many people, then don't go for the actual food. Go for something small that you can be able to feed the guys.
Yeah.
Because you can't close or put askaris there telling them, no, you're not invited for this wedding.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to antagonize people, and forever
Exactly.
they hate you.
Yes.
They say, oh, yo, nachakula.
I think I would do that.
Yeah?
I would not feel
You'd
bad
have
putting
cops.
askaris. Look, this is what I would do. I would have all the names of the invited persons listed. And I would communicate to each and every person I've invited that, look, it's only a 2 per card wedding. Okay?
Yeah.
Please don't exceed, because we'll have all your names printed. If somebody has a request and say, oh, we are 5, they should communicate that early. So that if, say, you've come to my wedding and you've lost your card, your name is there at the gate, Sophia and John. See, it's easy. It's just the mathematics of managing it and making it better.
And that makes it easier in
Absolutely,
financing it.
yeah.
Eldoret, Clara from Eldoret is calling us. Clara, good morning.
Morning to you.
Clara?
How are you?
Good. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, I was saying
Yes.
I don't support the asking people for contribution.
Why?
Actually, when I was getting married, I realized my husband was just a fresh intern from university. So I realized asking people for help, actually, even you have not settled in the house. And when we were talking about the wedding, they were talking for around 800,000 to 1.2 million. So I thought the best thing is to go to the Attorney General, civilize our marriage, and we had just a party home, farewell party, and we are living well. So
Okay.
for me, I just think you work with what you have.
Work with what you have. Great advice, Clara. Thank you for watching and for your contribution. We also have Esther online. Esther, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for
Sasa.
calling.
Sasa nilikuwa nataka kuuliza swali.
Yes.
Nilikuwa nimefanya harusi kanisani na bwanangu tukatengana kidogo, na tulipotengana akakuja akaniambia mimi ningeweka mtoto kwa pipa.
Ataka kuambia?
Akaniambia niliweka mtoto kwa pipa. Sasa mnaweza msaidiaje?
Okay, line yako hatupati vizuri. Sijui kama utajaribu, utatutumia ujumbe 22155. Kwa sababu hatupati. I'm getting the last. Maybe you can try, unaweza rudia tena. Ulifanya harusi kwa kanisa, mkatengana kidogo? Alafu what happened?
Bwanangu akaniambia niliweka mtoto kwa pipa. Akanifukuza.
Akasema uliweka mtoto kwa paper bag?
Akanifukuza. Yeah.
Akakufukuza?
Yeah, na ilikuwa ni miongo.
Okay, so ungetaka tukusaidie aje?
Naweza nisaidia na neno moja tu, moyo wangu mpate kuwa na
All right, thank you, Esther. Very not clear the line, but I also sequence of events not quite, I guess, related to what we're talking about. An accusation that was leveled against her by her husband and the child. But keep your calls coming. We want your thoughts on this whole conversation on wedding and financing them. Weddings are beautiful. I mean, it's love. You're launching this new union. But somebody, our previous caller, Clara, talked about it being a party. I like the idea of that. You know, you can do the AG thing or whatever, and then just have this huge party to celebrate, or small party to celebrate.
I feel that weddings have, sort of shifted from the marriages and they're just weddings. I think couples need to understand in the first place that a wedding is just the beginning of a marriage, and it's not what encompasses the whole package.
Yeah.
I like what I think Clara from is it Tigoni? Eldred. Yeah, she just said we went to an AG and we got put together, and now we are happy, and we live very happily ever after. And like the gentleman who called earlier and said the Bible refuses for somebody to be enjoined by say an AG. I've never read that in the Bible.
Yeah.
And he said because you have to be in front of a man, and an AG can be a man, and you can be, in the nation. So Martin, you can go to an AG, I think.
You can, and also have the witnesses there.
Yes.
But let's talk about, for those who may not see how serious this is, but the dangers of not planning, the dangers of not sticking to budget, or of not having that clear line that this is the money I have and this is what I'm going to stick to and not surpass it. What are the dangers of not doing that?
Well, if you don't stick to your budget, then you'll be embarrassed. Yeah, in terms of the guests that come to your wedding. Why? Because everything will just be wrong. If it's decorations, food, nothing will be working for you.
Yeah.
So I would advise couples, stick to what you have. Stick to what you have and start off without any financial difficulties. Yes.
It's a life, it's beginning on the wrong footing, you may say that, Eric, because even I have seen a couple, I went for the wedding, it was huge, beautiful. Little did I know that a lot of the things they had was, they borrowed a lot of money. Now they're going through an acrimonious divorce, and they're still in debt. The guy has literally been in hiding because there are people after him. I mean, it can be that bad.
I think it can. It can. Like I said, you don't strategize, you experience major tragedy. I'll happily do a small wedding, about 10 people, 20 people, and then, lift my head up with dignity. Isn't it better to invite you to enjoy my nuptials than to bug you with phone calls to contribute to my nuptials? No?
And people shouldn't be afraid of, what will people say. They'll say, I don't have money. Because I guess that goes into
You love him. If you love him and you love her, then it should happen. It shouldn't.
James is online. Good morning, James. Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. But I guess those people who are there are talking from a Western perspective.
Okay.
Remember, this is Africa, and we should enjoy doing our wedding the African style. So if I have a friend of mine who is doing a wedding, and I will feel good when I contribute something. They really don't have to ask me to contribute, but I'll push myself to contribute. Anyway, the second point is the man should marry the girl. The same way that you ask a girl, can I go and buy you something when you're dating? Same way, just get yourself together, get some money, do a wedding, and that is it. About loans and everything else. If you have to take a loan for that girl, she's that important. Go and pay that loan. Thank you.
All right, James. Thank you. Saying that this is a more Western perspective we're having here.
I think the thing we'd want to tell James is, there's nothing African about being bothered with 260 texts per week about, hi, brethren, guys, we have not reached our target. What is African about that? It's cumbersome, it's tiring, it's difficult. Then they give you budgets. Like, unajua wewe Eric, vile tumekuona, wewe lazima utoe to 50K. Hakuna unakuwaga kwa TV. 50K. That is not African, that is expensive.
Maybe just to add on that. Like James, what he's saying, I said it. When you call your family and your close friends and you tell them you want to have a wedding, whoever wants to chip in can chip in.
Absolutely.
At that point, without
being
saying,
coerced.
into it. Yes.
He's raised also a very important point. Traditionally, it is said the man finances the wedding.
Absolutely.
So I just show up on my wedding day, honey, and there's everything covered. Does that happen nowadays?
Well, it does. And
men do everything.
Let me tell you, in some percentage, yes. In another percentage, the couple, because of communication, they will sit down and they will say, this is what I have. Like the last wedding I did, even the bride paid out checks to suppliers, meaning this is an understanding they had. So a couple, a bride and a groom, put together their finances and they pay for the wedding.
You'd have your woman contribute some money to the wedding?
I pray not. I think a wedding is a big day for the woman, and I'd want to, you know, it's like a date, like the biggest date you've ever
it's
taken
like I'm paying for a date.
And I feel it would be weird for me to say, babe, now we are shy 600K, so you talk to your job. I think it's awkward. I would want, God willing, and I hope God answers this prayer, that look, give me the designs, give me what you want us to do, give me the budget, and then here's the check.
Yeah.
That's my prayer.
That's your prayer.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think I've seen some really low budget but fun weddings. I think bottom line is people need to remember, you know, the heart and the spirit of what a wedding is. Sometimes people forget about all about that, and you find people are getting married, but on the wedding day, they're stressed. They're just thinking of what this is done. They're smiling with you, but inside they're conflicted. Just imagining after everybody goes home, it's back to paying bills, right?
It's true, and I have seen it, and I've witnessed it, whereby this couple actually, they get vendors on board and they tell them on the wedding day, because it's enveloped, we're gonna pay you. Those envelopes don't even raise half of the amount you're expecting. Where does that leave the couple? Depressed couple. And everybody is standing. As everybody leaves, the vendors are at the site, waiting for their payments.
That is
right there, there's a problem.
That is so sad.
Yes.
Is there any other experience you've seen as we bring this to a close, and your final words as well to people who are thinking of getting married? They're engaged and, you know, will be going down the aisle soon.
If there's proper planning and you engage your family, you're not going to have a problem. But what I always advise, even those people that are planning to do their weddings, is that please have a budget and involve the right people. Yes.
Have a budget, involve the right people.
Yes.
My dear, your final words.
My advice would be, you know, do not borrow money for a leisure course. I find harambes or committees for weddings very much correlated to like asking for 200K to go and have a good time in the cost. Then you've enjoyed, then you come back and like, I'll give you. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
So I think they should plan early. If you want to get, say, married in April of 2015, start now.
Yeah.
You know, plan now. By that time, you'll have accrued all the money. By March, announce you're getting married. And it will be a pleasantly nice surprise wedding, even for your friends.
Even for your friends.
And they like to come more than being, you know, coerced to pay.
Yeah, and there's nothing like you're done with the wedding and you're happy still. Not stressed.
I think so.
Don't need to be stressed.
Huko going backwards to fungua bahasha chikini ngapi? Please niambie imefika hata 70K, watu wataniua.
And some even put 50 shillings, you know?
And
or even 100 shillings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
so
cannot be relying on those bahashas.
That is so sad.
You
Then
can't.
you're sweating.
Yeah.
Then guys are like, can we pause? Check? Yeah. What's your name?
Very well said. Thank you, guys. Anka here, wedding planner, Kay here, wedding planner, and Enrico Mundi, talent manager. We appreciate you both for being with us this morning. And we hope that somebody has learned one or two things before they go down that road of regret. And a lot of your feedback as well this morning. Mr. Chairman, you're saying, due to changing times, we should stick to private ceremonies with our budget to avoid debts and begging for weddings. Amen to that. That was on Jacomido. Pumwani Riyadha Masjid, you say, 1, wedding is a private affair. 2, it's not an emergency necessitating fundraising. Plan, save. I totally agree. It's not like a breaking story. Where, oh my God, you know, breaking, emergency.
You have to do it this month.
If you don't do it, the love will go. It's very well said.
Plan.
Yes. Let's see what else. Eunice Waithaka, you said, I don't think it's right to have an expensive wedding at the expense of your friends. Work with what you have. Jonathan Siaga, I'm planning for a wedding that is due on Saturday. Okay, I had the same thoughts as Eric, but my views have since changed. I wonder which ones. But his is on Saturday. Well, I just hope you're not going to be in debt. Somebody's asking, are the panelists married? I guess you're not.
No, I'm not.
But you've been very clear about when that day comes.
When that day comes,
Yes.
I would niombeni.
But you're a wedding planner, so of course for you, this comes with your area of expertise, understanding how important it is to plan. Then let's see. Vivian Cherono says, why should people start life together with Harambee, aka fundraising? Mtu hujikuna afikapo. That's right, like you.
Absolutely. You cut your cloth according to your size.
Exactly.
Very well said. It's not right to start a relationship on a wrong footing. You can't work with esteem and confidence, Eric Ofula says, and many more. Sam Shesha, hiyo ni upuzi cause mkikosana inakuwa tabia mbaya na bad publicity. Oh well, okay. Somebody says lipa na M-Pesa. Finance wedding unatumia watu your number and tell them just, pay to this vendor. Millie Wangoi says the problem is that most couples prepare for the wedding than the marriage. True.
It's true.
A lot of focus going into that day and not the rest of your life. Charles Ndarwa says yes, but if a couple is financially stable, there is no need, to fundraise. If you can't afford a wedding, then just settle down. The marriage is more important. Christopher Bryans, you say. Gituru Mwai captures what you said at the beginning, an irritating Kenyan habit. That is it in terms of just asking for money. Kosgei, yes, I can see no problem because it depends on their financial status. Watching in Lesos, Nandi County. Okay. Having a wedding in Lesos, okay. I didn't quite get that last part. Oh, Lesos.
Lesos.
No, it's a place.
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh.
Traditional.
That blonde woman. I'm very talking about Lesos. We're glad you're watching us from Lesos. Lord, can't believe I did that. Thank you for watching and for all your feedback this morning. At least it seems from these tweets, which are very many, thank you for the feedback, that we can all agree it's important to stick to your budget, to your ability in terms of financially and as far as wedding is concerned. And whoever's planning a wedding, we wish you the very best. Invite us.
Yes.
Not the committee.
Not the committee. We want to come have cake.
A wedding planning.
Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.